Good afternoon, everybody. So it is pre-lunchtime, I think, and coffee nicotine effect, I think, is dying down. So, so I want to make this session a little bit interactive. So it is all about the human milk oligosaccharide and beyond. In the morning, I changed that title because the previous title was a bit complex. So it is simple, HMOs and beyond. So HMOs, we all know. HMOs are the complex carbohydrate, and we are found in the breast milk. And it is the third most common component in the breast milk after lactose and lipid. So it is the third most. And among the HMOs, the two are more common among the types of HMOs, the 2FL and lactoan. The HMOs are many types of HMOs, but 2FL and lactoan are the most abundant HMOs. Then comprises about 30% of the HMOs. So why HMOs is important? Before that, we all want to live a happy life, isn't it? To make ourselves happy in every moment possible. So what are the happy hormones? So those hormones should be at a very high quantity in our blood circulation. So what are the, just interactive session, we all know that, but what are the happy hormones? Any name of the happy hormones? Dopamine, yeah, that's nice. Again, NLR. Dopamine, serotonin, endorphin, oxytocin. These are all the happy hormones, and we want these hormones to be in a good level in our blood. So why? Because we want to live a very healthy life, very energetic life, isn't it? So the happy hormones are pointer. No, this is the point. Point. The indicators. Pointers.
Maybe from the laptop. Laptop, if you use the
in the laptop.
yeah.
So, okay, this. Yeah. Now, yeah. So these are the four hormones, the happy hormones. And the fifth one is HMOs. This is not a hormone, but it works like happy hormone. So that's why HMO is very important. What is HMOs? I already talked about the HMOs. So the happy hormones, I just mentioned the four of the happy hormones. By doing few simple things, we can make those hormones at a very good level in our blood. For example, today morning, when I first met Hina, so here comes from UK, the way she, with so much coordinating, he jumps from his seat and tell me to go over there and give the cards of online program. This all makes me happy. So coming in Spain in a new place, she's not known to me, but how he embraced me, it makes me happy. And this works in both ways. This makes my serotonin, dopamine all very high level. Also makes the Hannah's blood level of happy hormones high. But it's still very simple thing. Be proactive. I don't need to do very hard, very complex things. So by doing these proactive things, proactive good things, by showing your love, by showing your empathy, by showing your sympathy to others, and also by doing some exercise every day. You don't need to be, run very fast. Just do 1 hour or half an hour exercise. Even if you don't get time, today some researchers are saying that even during your lunchtime, while you have before or after lunch in your room, if you don't get place outside, just place a mat, small mat on your floor, and just do this. Just doing this for 5 minutes. You will that will refresh you. That will jumps your hormone, the happy hormones in your blood. And also meditation is very important. So giving own time, we are so busy. As a physician, we are always busy. I'm talking with Jennifer. We don't have time for vacation, proper time for vacation. With the patient is stressed, as a pediatrician, we have to bear this parental stress. The parents expect so much from us. So when you are becoming a very famous physician, the expectation upon you is so much. And this expectation is stress, another stress. So to come out of this stress, do meditation, give simple half an hour time for his own time, distract you from your family members, from your kids, from your wife or husband, just giving half an hour time, listening good music, sitting there beside the window and looking at the sky and be with the nature. So the nature, if you embrace the nature, I am experiencing this. Please do believe it. If you embrace the nature, nature will shower love to you, and that will make you happy. So this is the natural way of making you happy. And the fifth one is the HMO. The HMOs, how the HMO can make us happy? By keeping our body healthy. So how HMO works. So this is I already mentioned, is the third last solid component, the lactose, lipid, and then the HMOs. And the two main components of HMOs, 2FL and lactoin. There are many components, but these two is very important, and they are comprising 30% of the HMOs. And why they're important? Because this ingredient of the HMOs has more influence on our neurons. Most abundant HMOs. And the building blocks of HMOs has the galactose, fructose, N-acetyl glucosamine, sialic acid, all are in the HMOs. So one of the main criteria of the HMOs is that in the breast milk, the component HMOs, we cannot digest it properly. They pass through the stomach, they go to the small intestine, and they become digested to some extent in the large intestine. So HMOs are a undigested complex carbohydrate, and this has the good effect. Why they are partly digested and remain in the intestine, I will tell later on what's the role of these undigested HMOs in our intestine. So very small quantities of this intestine become absorbed, and they go to the blood circulation, and they also went to the other different parts of the body and excreted in the urine. And the HMO's composition, there is whether it will have more TRFL, whether it will have more glucose, fructose. It depends on the lactation time of the lactating mother. The timing of breastfeeding is very important, as well as the genetic makeup of the mother, as well as the environmental factors. Environmental factors means the breastfeed mother should be mentally very healthy, no mental stress. If the mother is under stress, he can't properly breastfeed. Maybe the composition of the breastfeed varies in a stressed mother and unstressed mother. Mother should have good, healthy diet. Mother should have, sympathy and empathy from all the family members. That affects the composition of the oligosaccharides. It's amazing. And HMO is also, we all know that the prebiotics and probiotics. The HMO is excellent prebiotics. Now, what is the difference between probiotics and prebiotics? The prebiotics are the soluble factors. The prebiotics are the soluble factors that human cannot digest. What I am just telling a little bit earlier, the HMOs we cannot properly digest. So they remain in the gut, and on these undigested HMOs, what do the gut microbiome, the common cells, they ferment this undigested material, and that gives us a health benefit. So HMO is a very good prebiotics, and it also differ from the other prebiotic in that sense that HMO can work directly and indirectly. The HMO has good health beneficial effects indirectly through the gut microbacteria. So gut microbacteria works on undigested HMOs, and that's where HMO works. And HMO also works directly, bypassing the gut microbiome. So HMOs have in our body, they have a specific HMO receptor, like galactin and selectin. And the next slide. So we have a specific receptors for binding of HMOs. These are the galactin and selectins. And HMOs binds to this receptor and have direct beneficial, health beneficial effect. And these receptors are abundant on the neurons. So it is now proof that HMO has a very good positive mental health benefit. So the receptors are the galactins and selectins. And these receptors are on the neurons as well as on the immune cells. Immune cells are also these receptors. So HMO has also immune modulation effect. So that's very interesting. These three things work simultaneously, works synergistically, works together, works cordially. The HMOs, the gut, and the microbiome. So HMOs I talked about, now the gut. Why gut is very important? So nowadays there is saying that there's a gut-brain axis. So the gut is very important. That's and gut has many multiple vital functions. You know that our immune system, 70% of our immune cells are in the gut. The macrophages, the gut macrophage, the gut chromophene cells, the 70% of our immune cells in the gut. So keeping the gut healthy is very important. So gut plays a very important role in immune modulation, in give body resistance power, in eliminating the bad bacteria from our body. So gut is very important, the immune system. Another important is there are 500 millions of neurons in the gut. 500 million after brain, the huge number of neurons in the gut. So gut is called the second brain, the enteric nervous system. So the neurons which are in the gut, they play a role. They play a role in our mental makeup, in our mental state, in the growth of the brain. So the neurons in the gut, they secrete neurotransmitters. And these neurotransmitters through the blood go into our different organs and have their positive effect. So 70% of the immune system located in the gut, these cells have so 500 million during the gut and the enteric nervous system, the second brain, direct communication between the gut and the brain. So how the gut and the brain works? If we keep our gut healthy, our brain works well. They work through the neurotransmitters. So the gut neurons, they secrete neurotransmitter, they go to the blood, from the blood, they go to the nervous system. Also, this communication is maintained by the vagus nerve. Vagus nerve plays a very important role in the gut-brain axis. So keep your gut healthy, your brain will function nicely. So the vagus nerve is the crucial nerve, And now come so the three important things: the HMOs, the gut, and the microbiome. Now we are already known about the HMOs and the gut. Now the microbiome. So we had tens of trillions of healthy common cell bacteria in our gut. So these bacteria plays a vital role. These bacteria, work synergistically with the HMOs. These bacteria work synergistically with the gut health. So they contribute huge. So there are tens of millions. And these common cells plays a crucial role in the gut health as well as the brain health, cerebral health. So neurotransmitter, I already mentioned. Neurotransmitters, 30 different types of neurotransmitter. 90%, so among the neurotransmitter, serotonin, I talked about the serotonin, the happy hormones. 90% of the serotonin are produced in the gut. And this neurotransmitter have positive effect on our brain health, sending signal. So the neurotransmitter sensing the condition of the gut, they send signal to the brain. See, the gut is not working properly, so bad signals are going to the brain. So these signals are very good signals coming from the gut to the brain is very important. And when our gut microbiome are healthy, so they will send positive signals to the brain. So improving the quality of the gut microbiome leads to better mental health. So there is a very important link between the gut and the brain. So now how the HMOs and the gut they combine together. So HMOs maintain the gut mucosal barrier very healthy, intact. We all know that if the gut mucosal barrier become leaky, so it's through this leaky mucosal barrier, the toxic elements are going into the circulation, and these inflammatory products go into the circulation. And so if the HMOs are not abundant in our milk, if we don't have proper breast milk, because we all know that breast milk has good amount of HMOs. So HMOs, what HMOs do, HMOs keep the intestinal brain mucous membrane intact. So there is less entry of toxic bacteria, less entry of pro-inflammatory toxin into our body. So when there is breaching the gut membrane, which the HMOs and good microbacterium do it, maintain the gut, healthy gut mucous membrane, so there is less entry of toxin. So much entry of toxin, too much entry of toxin through the leaky membrane can cause neuroinflammation. And when there is neuroinflammation, the brain will work bad. So enhance neurodevelopment brain function. Healthy gut bacteria. Gut bacteria typically grows well on HMOs. So it is all interlinked. If we have HMOs, there will be growth of good bacteria. If the HMOs are less in the milk, there will be growth of bad bacteria. These are all interdependent. So pathogenic bacteria, Clostridium, gram-negative bacteria can't grow on HMOs. If there's a good amount of HMOs in our intestine, the pathogenic bacteria can grow. HMOs prevent intestinal attachment of the HMOs. What HMOs do? When any pathogenic bacteria enter the gut, HMOs bind with the toxins, bacterial toxin, and prevent the toxin to bind with the intestinal mucosa. So HMOs prevent intestinal attachment of rotavirus, Campylobacter, E. coli, H. pylori, Vibrio coli. These are all, we all know that these are all the gut pathogenic bacteria. And HMOs prevent those bacteria binding to our mucous membrane. And another thing is, what is gut dysbiosis? Gut dysbiosis means dysfunction of the gut. There is a physiological process. As we grow older, our gut becomes, less healthy functioning. So when we become older, the number of commensal bacteria in your gut becomes gradually diminished, as well as the variety. There's many varieties of good commensals. The Diphtobacterium is there. The other good colonic bacteria are there. With age, the diversity of these good commensal bacteria also become less. So when the good bacteria, number of bacteria become less, the diversity is less with age. So there is opposite thing happening. So there is much more growth of toxic bacteria in our intestine, and that interfere with our good health. So this is called the gut dysbiosis. And these dysbiosis usually start happening after 40 years of our life. So after 40, we must be more serious about taking care of our gut. So when the gut dysbiosis starts, what happens? There is altered gut microbiome. So altered gut microbiome means good commensals become less and bad bacteria become more. decreased number of healthy gut commensal, decreased gut commensal diversity, and increased number of pro-inflammatory gut bacteria. So it's all I mentioned already. Accumulation of inflammatory toxin in the gut, inflammation of the gut leads to leaky membrane, entry of inflammatory toxin in our blood circulation, and neuroinflammation. And neuroinflammation means our brain is not functioning well. So this is important. I try to mention is the butyrate, the butyrate. So what I mentioned very early, so the HMOs, we cannot digest HMOs properly. So undigested HMOs, they remain in our gut. And healthy microbiome, I'm talking about healthy. As we have more healthy microbiome, they ferment that undigested complex HMOs. The fermentation occurs, and that fermentation product is butyrate. This butyrate is very important. So what butyrates do? So when there is abundant production of butyrate in our intestine, the butyrate is very interesting. Butyrate is absorbed, go into the colonocyte. Inside the colonocyte, butyrate converted into acetyl-CoA. The acetyl-CoA gel, with the pharmacology, the acetyl-CoA gel then enter into the Krebs cycle. The pharmacology Krebs cycle. So acetyl-CoA enters into the Krebs cycle of the mitochondria. And what's the function of the Krebs cycle? They produce more ATPs. And what is ATP? ATP is the powerhouse of the cell. So if we have more ATPs in our colonocytes, so our colon will work well. So butyrate in this way makes our colon healthy. So, healthy gut might synthesize short-chain fatty acid that is from the HMOs, the uncomplexed digested carbohydrate, and this. So, butyrate is that this is the role of the butyrate. Another thing is that the HMOs also plays role in our gene expression. So previously it was thought that the genes are static. So we cannot change the genes. But nowadays it is proved, scientifically proved, we cannot change the gene sequence. Your gene sequence and my gene sequence is totally different. We cannot change the gene sequence, but what we can do, we can change the expression of the genes. So what is the expression of the genes? In our body, there are bad genes and good genes. In everybody's, bad genes and good genes. What we want, the good genes to be expressed and bad genes to be remain silent. So we can control that. It is like, the switching off the bulb. You in your hand is a switch. You can switch on and switch off. You can switch on the good genes, you can switch off the bad genes. How we can do that? So this is the very interesting, the epigenetic. You heard about epigenetic? Epi means add, and gene is gene, The epi means add on. The something add on the genes. So what is add-on factor? This add-on factor is the positive factor. This add-on factor is the gut microbiome. This add-on factor is the HMOs. So by having good HMOs, by keeping our gut healthy through good microbiota, we can control the switch. So if we have good HMOs, if we have healthy gut, we can make our good genes express more, our bad genes remain silent. So this is called epigenetic modification. So we can modify. So we cannot change the gene sequence, but we can change our expression of the genes. So if as somebody can say that next person is is not suffering. We are the same diet. We are in the same professions, but that people is not suffering much. Me is suffering more. It is because of the good genes are expressed more in his body. So by expressing good genes, he remain more healthy than me. So epigenetic modification is very important. It's nothing complex. So epigenetic modification, what happens? So it works through DNA methylation. DNA methylation means a extra methyl group is added to your DNA. This is called DNA methylation. And this DNA methylation causes epigenetic modification. So you need an extra methyl group to add to your DNA. So this extra methyl, this whole process is catalyzed by an enzyme called DNA methyl transferase enzyme. And this methyl transferase enzyme needs extra methyl group, you understand? So DNA methylation is one of the process of epigenetic modification. So through DNA methylation, we can influence our gene expression. And this DNA methylation is catalyzed by the enzyme called DNA methyl transferase. And DNA methyl transferase needs a methyl group to add on, extra methyl group to add on to DNA to catalyze the reaction. So from where this methyl group comes, extra methyl group, this comes from folic acid and vitamin B12. So this folic acid and vitamin B12 donate this extra methyl group, and that helps in expression of our good genes. And so what a good bacteria do? Good bacteria synthesize folic acid and vitamin B12 in our gut. So simple, So if we have very good microbacterium, this microbacterium will synthesize more folic acid and more vitamin B12, and this folic acid with vitamin B12 will donate methyl group to the enzyme DNA methyl transferase. Then DNA methyl transferase use this methyl group for DNA methylation, and DNA methylation means there is expression of the good genes. So process is complex, but this simple. By keeping our gut healthy, there is more folic acid, more vitamin B12 in our gut, so our good genes will be more expressed. It's very simple. So this all we can recapitulate. HMOs can bind to intestinal immune cells, modulate neonatal gut immune function. This all we already discussed. HMOs prevent addition of pathogens into mucosa, and there is a specific receptor of HMOs. So I already mentioned about the gut-brain axis. What is the positive impact of the gut-brain axis? Gut-brain axis do positive thing, positive correlation with HMOs. So HMOs helps good microbacterium. Good microbacterium helps in synthesis of the neurotransmitter serotonin in the gut, and that has positive correlation with HMOs. Good cognitive, fine and gross motor, and also socio-economic, socio-emotional impact. So at the end, we all need a very healthy life, like this day, At the age of 40, 45, he's running healthy, maintaining his health, looks happy. So all this we can do simple. You don't need any medicine, you don't need to do very complex things in your day-to-day life. Just you need to do to keep those hormones at a high level, good thinking, positive thinking, proactive thinking, jumps and always be positive, be proactive, and do exercise. Even what I mentioned, just over the night, you just jump. You don't need to go very high. Just touch your feet on the ground and just do. You just practice it for 1 month, you will feel. And be with the nature. Be connected with the nature. At least half an hour minimum. 1 hour is excellent. At least half an hour, go out of your house in the morning, in the evening, and embrace the nature, connect with the nature. You will feel. You will definitely believe it. You will definitely feel the positive impact in your health, in your body, in your mind. So that's all. Thank you very much.